fallout growing from that interview with Prince Andrew, answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
There is no good time to talk about Mr. Epstein and all things associated.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a prince loses everything in front of everyone? That's what's happening to Prince Andrew right now. He has been removed from his home at Windsor Castle with his family watching, and his reaction shows his shock. This isn't just gossip. It's the result of years of scandals coming to light. The fallout growing from that interview with Prince Andrew, answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted Jeffrey Epstein. Supported by palace leaks and insiders revealing real family tensions. We have looked into his connections to Epstein, the situation with his eviction, and what his removal means for the monarchy. This story goes beyond hype. It's about a once-favored prince facing downfall. Stay with us, because by the end you'll understand how this embarrassment could change the royal family forever and make you rethink loyalty to the monarchy. Who is Prince Andrew? From golden boy to family outcast. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand Prince Andrew's humiliation at Windsor, you need to know his story. From being the palace's golden boy to the family black sheep that everyone whispers about. Born on February 19, 1960 at Buckingham Palace, Andrew was Queen Elizabeth II's second son with Prince Philip. He was the spare to Charles's heir, but he lived life to the fullest. Nicknamed Randy Andy for his playboy lifestyle. He grew up in luxury, attending Eton, enjoying extravagant yacht parties and charming everyone around him. His moment of glory came during the 1982 Falklands War, when he flew helicopters from HMS Invincible, dodging Exocet missiles in the South Atlantic. For his bravery, he earned the Air Force Cross. The Queen was proud. He was her favorite and the fun uncle to his nieces and nephews. After the war, Andrew's life was marked by privilege. He divorced Sarah Ferguson in 1996 after a series of tabloid scandals, but he kept his titles as Duke of York and HR. In 2002, he secured Royal Lodge, a lavish Georgian mansion on the Windsor grounds. It's his domain, boasting 30 acres of gardens, pools, and even a private cinema, all leased from the Crown Estate after £15 million in taxpayer-funded renovations by 2019. According to reports from the Sunday Times, Andrew served as a trade envoy, traveling around the world. But issues began to surface. Business failures and connections to Jeffrey Epstein became problematic. Then in 2019, his BBC News site interview went horribly wrong as he attempted to defend his friendship with the convicted sex offender. By 2022, the palace stripped him of his military titles, his HR status for official use, and his security detail, which cost £3 million a year. Robert Lacey's book, Andrew the Playbook, 2023, highlights his rapid transformation from war hero to pariah, leaving him isolated at Royal Lodge. However, he clings to that castle as tensions rise, with family members pushing him out, leaving him in shock. This is where it all started. The shadow of Epstein looms large over his downfall, the Epstein scandal, the spark that ignited the fall. Prince Andrew has faced serious problems for years because of his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. This relationship turned Andrew's life into a scandal that royal efforts cannot repair. It began around 2001 when Andrew claimed he was helping Epstein socially. He met Epster, a wealthy financier with a private jet and many powerful friends, through Ghislaine Maxwell, an old friend from the 1980s. At that time, Epster seemed charming and hosted celebrities, leading Andrew to believe he could assist with his trade envoy work. They discussed philanthropy, and Andrew even flew on Epstein's plane in 1999, as shown by flight logs from 2021 trials. Red flags appeared when Epster received a plea deal for underage sex trafficking in Florida in 2008. Andrew said he ended their relationship, but photos suggest otherwise. In 2010, while Epster was on probation, Andrew invited him to Windsor for a catch-up. Later, awkward photos of Andrew with Maxwell and young women surfaced in connection with Virginia Giuffre's 2015 lawsuit. Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims, accused Andrew of assaulting her when she was 17 in 2001 after Epstein lent her out. Andrew denied the claims and called them categorically untrue. The situation escalated to U.S. lawsuits and FBI investigations. In 2019, Andrew's infamous interview with BBC's Emily Maitlis became a pivotal moment. He made unusual excuses for his behavior, such as claiming he couldn't sweat because of a war injury, which was later proven false, and saying he spent time at Pizza Express as an alibi. He stated he had no memory of his ties to Epstein, but many viewed this as avoidance. Social media reacted strongly, creating memes and the hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself, along with jokes about Andrew. In Robert Lacey's 2023 book, Andrew the Playbook, he reveals that the royal family panicked. Advisors urged Andrew to cancel the interview, but he proceeded, thinking it would clear his name. Instead, it damaged his reputation, causing sponsors to pull support and charities to drop him. The royal family felt the heat, too. Queen Elizabeth II quietly removed his royal duties, and Charles worked harder to distance himself from royal activities, fearing the scandal would harm the monarchy. In February 2022, Andrew settled with Jaffrey for £12 million, which came from his own funds, with reports suggesting a total of £16 million, leading many to believe he was guilty. While no criminal charges were filed, the damage was significant, forcing the royal family to distance themselves from him and creating issues for him at Windsor. This scandal ruined Andrew's life. But losing his home at Windsor Castle will bring even more humiliation. Royal Lodge and Windsor Castle. Andrew's Priory home base. Prince Andrew lives at Royal Lodge. His home since 2002 amid the Epstein scandal. This Georgian house built in 1811 has 5 large bedrooms, a gym, a private cinema, and stables, all on 30 acres of land. He and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson raised their daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. They're hosting many lavish parties away from the public eye. However, maintaining the property has been expensive. Between 2002 and 2019, renovations cost £15 million. Funded by taxpayers, and security expenses were about £2 million each year before 2022. Since losing his title, Andrew now pays some of these costs, but the yearly upkeep is still around £2 million, raising concerns among insiders about its sustainability. Royal Lodge provides Andrew with some peace during troubled times, but eviction threats show increasing pressure from the royal family. King Charles aims to cut costs and simplify the monarchy, and he is focusing on Andrew's expensive setup at Windsor Castle. As part of his green agenda to reduce taxpayer expenses, Charles indicated that Royal Lodge is no longer a reasonable option for Andrew. Although Andrew has not received an official eviction notice, it is clear he needs to move to a smaller home like Frogmore Cottage, which Harry and Meghan recently left. His absence from the 2023 Christmas gathering at Sandringham in the coronation balcony highlighted his growing isolation as Charles sets clear boundaries. Andrew believes his loyalty and status as a war hero should allow him to stay at Royal Lodge. But Charles is determined to address the high costs following Andrew's loss of royal titles. In Robert Lacey's 2023 book, Andrew expressed that he feels betrayed as their brotherly bond weakens under public scrutiny. By early 2024, reports leaked that Andrew was encouraged to leave Royal Lodge, leading to headlines like "Exiled Prince" and "Public Embarrassment" for him, marking a significant drop in his status and influence. Andrew's speechless reaction, silence, or stunned defiance. In early 2024, when rumors about Andrew's eviction from Windsor grew louder, everyone waited for his reaction. What did we get? Silence. The Duke of York stayed quiet at Royal Lodge, surprising many with his lack of response. His first comment came in March 2024 in a Telegraph article. "I respect the King's decision on my living arrangements." It was brief and emotionless. Body language experts on ITV's This Morning analyzed his church photos, which showed him with his head down and avoiding the cameras. He seemed stiff and unapproachable, giving off an air of defiance. Insiders described this as typical Andrew behavior. Brave in battle but struggling with family pressure. Looking closer, the situation seems sad. Since losing his title in 2022, Andrew feels isolated. Robert Lacey's 2023 book, Andrew the Playbook, describes him spending time with Fergie and their dogs, feeling like a prisoner in his own home. He feels betrayed by Charles's actions, which have created distance between him and his family. Unlike Harry, who apologized publicly for his past mistakes in his 2023 memoir, Andrew has not spoken about Epstein, which has led to his continued isolation. A BBC analysis in 2024 called this a self-imposed exile, adding to his struggle. Emotionally, he shows a mix of stubbornness and sadness. At 64, he struggles with feelings of irrelevance, often breaking down in private. This situation highlights the family's dynamics. Charles is leading the charge to distance himself from Andrew, while William is focused on his own future, leaving Andrew feeling lost. How is the rest of the family managing? Andrew's silence speaks volumes inside the palace. Next, we'll explore how Charles, William, and the Queen's legacy are affected by this rift. Family fallout. Charles, William, and the Queen's shadow. Andrew's silence is causing serious problems for the royal family. King Charles is leading the response while William defends the family, all under the late Queen's watchful eye. Charles has tried to focus the monarchy on a smaller group of working royals since he became king in 2022. He wants to cut costs and believes keeping Andrew's £2 million lodge is not sustainable after the Epstein scandal. The eviction of Harry and Meghan from Frogmore Cottage in March 2023 set a clear standard. Charles used security costs for non-working royals as a reason. He aims to protect the institution. Charles is taking a tough approach, setting firm boundaries where his mother was softer. Before 2022, Queen Elizabeth II supported Andrew, even paying part of his £12 million settlement with Douay and allowing him to join family events. But Charles is practical and has pushed Andrew to leave the lodge to cut costs and avoid scandals. He reportedly told Andrew it was time to step back. This decision lacks warmth and is driven by duty. Their once close relationship is now strained because Andrew refuses to accept his situation. William is distancing himself and focusing on his own family. As the next heir, he wants a modern monarchy that is smaller and scandal-free. Since the Epstein case, he has avoided Andrew to protect his children and the royal line from negativity. This tough love reflects his grandmother's protectiveness, but it is even stronger. William sees Andrew as a risk. Healing within the family is slow. Charles suggested Frogmore as a soft landing for Andrew, but Andrew's reluctance suggests lingering grudges. Since the Queen died in 2022, royal dynamics have changed. Charles now demands accountability. Could they find a compromise, like quietly selling some lodge art, or is the rift too deep? The family faces challenges, but royals often bounce back through their duties. This situation is testing them. The fallout is changing the palace from within, and the public is waiting to react. Expect many headlines and opinions. As the palace walls closed in on Andrew, he faced intense media scrutiny and public anger. In January 2024, tabloids like the Daily Mail and The Sun reported on his eviction from Royal Lodge. They portrayed it as a personal failure under King Charles's strict rules. While some outlets framed it as a matter of financial prudence, public opinion turned sharply against him. A YouGov poll from December 2023 showed that 65% of Brits supported the eviction, viewing it as wasteful during the cost of living crisis and connecting it to Epstein. Social media became a platform for mockery, with memes of Andrew packing his things going viral. By late 2024, 70% of the public wanted him completely sidelined. Sympathy for him was rare. This marked a significant loss of trust in the monarchy. As his popularity fell, Andrew's following actions could be either desperate or defiant, determining his future in the public's eyes. Andrew's next moves: eviction, isolation, or comeback. As public criticism mounts, Andrew faces difficult choices about the Windsor situation. He can either leave quietly, fight to stay, or sell family treasures to manage his finances. Let's look at his options and how they might affect his money and reputation. Option 1. Move to Frogmore Cottage. Charles has offered him this smaller 5-bedroom home, now available since Harry and Meghan moved out. The benefits of moving include keeping his dignity, being closer to family, and saving around £500,000 a year compared to the £2 million for Royal Lodge. However, moving to Frogmore, known as the Megxit House, might feel humiliating and could seem like he is following his nephew's path. Option 2. Stay and fight. Andrew could choose to remain at Royal Lodge, claiming his 99-year lease. This could protect his status and allow him to develop a public relations strategy, but it might harm his relationship with Charles and increase public anger. He is already facing financial struggles due to the Epstein scandal, which has cost him about $30 million. He relies on his shrinking private funds. Option 3. Sell artworks. Andrew could sell valuable pieces from Royal Lodge, including paintings worth £5 million. This option would bring in quick cash, but could make him appear desperate, hurting his image as an art collector. In summary, moving offers peace, but risks humiliation, while staying to fight keeps his pride, but could lead to isolation. Andrew's choices will significantly impact his future with the royal family and raise questions about the Windsor legacy. What this means for the royals' legacy and lessons. Prince Andrew's problems highlight serious issues for the royal family and affect its reputation. His situation forces the royal family to rethink its role today. King Charles has started this change by suggesting a smaller monarchy with 7 to 10 prominent members. He wants to focus on essentials and cut costs during tough economic times. According to a recent YouGov poll, 55% of people in the UK want fewer working royals. They see expenses like Andrew's £2 million lodge bill is too high. Andrew's downfall warns the royal family to act carefully or risk losing their importance. In the long run, removing Andrew could help the royal family save money, allowing King Charles to support projects like William's Earthshot Prize. William looks stronger as he distances himself from Andrew, which benefits younger royals, especially George, who is next in line. Camilla supports Charles, but the situation shows a clear focus on bloodline first. The royals may not completely cut ties with Andrew. He could live quietly at Frogmore as a retired royal. However, if he fights against these changes, it could lead to more negative headlines and weaken public support. Overall, this change shifts the monarchy from excess to a focus on legacy, which is essential for its survival. Andrew's challenges remind us that royals are human and have flaws. If you found this interesting, please like, subscribe for more insights, and share your thoughts. Should Andrew fight or accept his situation? Thank you for reading and stay tuned for updates on the royal.